talk to customers, I often hear that data centers are too complex and are costing too much to manage. Our mission in designing the Superdome 2 was to take a fresh look at these challenges. How do we deal with this? HP has demonstrated that Blade's architecture drives efficiencies and simplifies infrastructure. We've taken the resiliency of the Superdome and the Blade's efficiency and combined them to create the new Superdome 2. I'm Wendy Wiehardt. I work in the Enterprise Systems Lab, and I helped create the Superdome 2. And I'm here to tell you why I'm so proud of this design. Now let's look at some of the advantages of the Superdome cell blade. You can see they have a shorter, denser design that draws less power, so you can pack a lot more into a smaller area. And the entry price point, much less than before. And the really cool thing about these is that you can scale up really easily. A customer can start off with a single cell, 2-socket system, and scale up to 8 cells, 16-socket system, all in a single enclosure. And if you need more processing power than that, you can connect 2 enclosures together and create a 32-socket complex, all in a single rack. Now let's look inside. These are the new Intel 9300 series processors. Each of these has 4 cores. The sockets for these are engineered to accept 3 generations of processors, meaning an extended lifetime for the system enclosure. And moving to future generations of processors will not require any recompiling of applications. The cell blade's 2 dual NIC 10 gig LOMs are shown here, effectively providing 4 10 gig NICs. The built-in I/O greatly simplifies management. This is the SX3000 I/O hub, and over here you'll see the SX3000 agents. These agents enable fabric connections to the larger SMP. In the center, the PDHC embedded management controller provides our VPAR functionality. Along this side, you'll see the memory buffers interspersed amongst 32 DIMM slots. These DIMM slots support DDR3 for faster transfer rates and 30% less power consumption than DDR2. And the HP Integrity implementation continues to support double chip sparing for additional resiliency. And of course, last but not least, the ILO, common to all blades for easier management across the data center. So these 2 modules are our Superdome I/O expanders. You can support up to 8 I/O expanders per enclosure. So there's lots of flexibility and scalability in assigning I/O to partitions. Superdome 2 is designed to be more resilient than ever before. We have over 100 new innovations built into the system just to ensure against downtime. Just take the crossbar, for example. The crossbar connects cell blade to cell blade and cell blade to IOX. It helps support flexible scaling of any workload, whether it's CPU intensive or IO intensive. It's engineered for independent scaling of CPUs and IOs. It's got to be up all the time, so we've improved the fabric's resiliency through a combination of link level retry, link width reduction, and end-to-end retry. And you can pull out and replace the crossbar without having to reboot the system. So what else makes this system so highly resilient? The crossbars are just the beginning. The upper and lower mid-planes are electrically passive and have no single points of failure. The GPSM board builds on the onboard administrator and expands its capabilities to Superdome 2 specific features. It provides a redundant clock source and a redundant clock distribution, and it distributes the redundant manageability fabric to all of the Superdome 2 components. Both the onboard administrator and the GPSM are redundant, and they have hot swap and automatic failover capabilities. Commonality of management tools across the entire Integrity line means there's a lot less time and training required for serviceability. Customers can manage anything from an x86 to a Superdome 2, all using the same interface format. And the manageability of a Superdome 2 is even easier than before. The tools used to create and manage NPARs and VPARs reside on the OA, which means you can create partitions without a booted OS, without an external management station, and with no special tools. It's all done through the OA GUI or command line interface. To help increase uptime and improve serviceability, we developed a tool called the Superdome 2 Analysis Engine. It's a centralized error analysis tool to collect and analyze any errors in the complex. With this tool, we've moved many of the diagnostic capabilities from the OS to the manageability firmware level. This means logs and component health status are all accessible in one place. Errors can be analyzed even when a partition cannot boot. Error reporting is more consistent across different OSs. And it has the capability to correlate disparate failures so that errors and shared resources are reported once instead of for each partition, regardless of the number of partitions. We're proud of our Superdome 2 and the way it combines our mission-critical heritage with the efficiency of blades. Superdome 2 is our flagship for the Integrity server line, and we think you'll agree. This is the world's best mission-critical platform.